Hi, my name is Farida, and I talk about living a life of ease through remote work and travel. Today, I have with me the one, the only Khalidah Bilal. She is, mashallah, amazing. We worked together at Islamic school for almost 10 years. She is a life coach. She is a business owner, and she is the YouTube creator for Fearless After 50. Khalida, please introduce yourself a little bit more and tell us about yourself and some of the things in the works for you.
Oh my gosh, like how long do you have? Yeah, I do life coaching. My coaching is more transitional, people new job or I do also coach like young people transitioning into adulthood, because that can be a challenging time, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of my coaching is transitional coaching. I am also a chaplain, and I do work with people for end of life, support, giving them end of life support, which is also another kind of transition, right? So, I might help them through that end stage of their life or, make sure that they get buried correctly, make sure their apartments get cleaned out. And I also educate people. On how to prepare for that moment when you become incapacitated with in terms of your health, right? I have an e-learning course and a workbook that people can do the course or get the workbook, or and I do presentations on that kind of stuff as well. I was a teacher up until what are we in now? July. So up until 2 months ago, I resigned my teaching
Yay,
post.
congratulations.
Yay! Free at last, free at last.
Absolutely. It's such an exciting experience, transitioning out of teaching and moving on to that next step and realizing that you're still teaching in some kind of way as
Yeah.
well. So how has that been for you moving on away from, our original love of teaching?
So, I mean, I'm still in that, moving away. I don't actually, I've been focusing more on my things, Kindred Barakah and just getting that sorted. I'm kind of caught up in moving back home to England, right? I
Mhm.
haven't been working, I haven't got a job as yet, but I don't know if I want to get a job. Do you know what I mean? Because I have so
Mm.
many of my own interests that I want. So it's exciting, it's scary, it's lots of things, but it's also very liberating. Like every now and then I stop and I think, wait, I don't have to be in school on August 1st, right? Like
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
don't have to get ready for any lessons. I can unban myself from Target.
Exactly. Because you're not going to be in that little dollar area buying all that stuff for
Exactly.
your kids.
Exactly. I banned
Mhm.
myself from that section because I should just spend so much money. But now I don't have no classroom to buy anything for, so I can now freely walk into Target.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, speaking about your upcoming move abroad to England, my channel is all about, living a life of ease, moving abroad, bopping, taking a sabbatical, and you're kind of managing to do all those things at once. So, how does your abundance mindset and your fearless after 50 mindset help you with that transition?
Oh my gosh. So, like it's one thing to actually say you're going to do it, right?
Mm,
But, as time starts ticking down, it really, the challenges of doing it become more apparent. So the first thing is, um, where am I going to live? Right.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
and that's been something that has really been, a cause of angst for me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because
Yes.
Like I own, as someone who owns their own home, right? The thought of going to go live with somebody or us to go stay with somebody, it's kind of like I don't really want to do that. And then you get the kind of vibe from people that it's like, we yeah,
Mhm.
and so as a grown up, you have to be able to pick up on the fact that you're putting too much on your friendship or your relationship, right? And kind of fall back on that. And then I started looking at how much does it cost to rent a place, and it's like
Mm.
1,500 pounds,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
not cheap living in the UK at all.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
Because 1,500 pounds a month, that's like 2,500 a month, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and then if you don't actually have a job already, then what they ask you to do is they ask you to pay 6 months in advance,
Mm.
right? So
Wow.
2,500 times six, that's a lot of money,
Mhm.
you
That's a
know?
lot
And
of bananas.
yeah,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I don't want to get, no, that's too much money to
Girl,
give,
no.
like,
Exactly.
yeah, like, and my son is like, yeah, but you're going to spend that on rent anyway. And then even as he's saying that to me, I'm like, I don't want to spend that much money on somebody
Yeah.
else's mortgage. Do you know what
I
I'm saying?
refuse. I refuse. Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
my head was going around, and it was just like really, really stressful. And then I came, uh, actually about a week or two, about 2 weeks ago, I went to visit with a friend who was pet
Mm.
sitting on Martha's Vineyard. So yes, got to hang out in Martha's Vineyard for free,
Hey,
you
okay,
know.
girl.
And I was like, because this is kind of like the third direction that this whole house pet sitting thing has come to me, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's like every time it comes to me, it's like as a Muslim, I'm feeling like dogs. Ugh.
What if they lick me? Ugh.
Yes, haram, my salat will
Mhm.
not be accepted. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so I've just been kind of, I haven't really been actively moving forward with it. I downloaded Stephanie Perry's house sitting thing, right? The course, but then I didn't have time to do it because I was teaching and I'm doing my master's program, and I just didn't have time for it. So it's kind of like
Absolutely.
the course is still there somewhere in my inbox,
Yeah.
that I never
I did
actually.
the course as well, and I took her little template and did it. Actually, guys, I'm on a house sit right now. This is not, as you can see, this is not my house. So yeah, the house sitting is a great, great
Yeah.
avenue. And
So
thank
so
you. One moment. Thank you, Dion Marie, for your comment. She writes that I think the UAE hires a lot of teachers. Um, Khalida, do you want to address the comment about have you ever thought of teaching abroad?
I'm too old. Um,
There is, yes, there is
yeah,
a limit. Like once you
yeah,
hit that wall
55.
of 55, they,
55, but yeah, out
the
to
healthcare,
55.
I guess, becomes expensive.
If you're
Hmm.
already there at 55, they'll let you go to 61, right? But if you're over 55, you can't apply. So
Mm.
yeah. But
Mhm.
anyway, while I was
Exactly.
in Martha's Vineyard, um, I kind of got on Trusted House Sitters and I made my profile, right? And yeah, like the first day I got booked for a sit. Right?
So
So
it's so
I'm
fast. Yes.
really excited because now I actually have I have three months worth of sits booked,
Yes,
right?
girl. Yes.
So yeah, so when I go to London now, as it stands, I am booked for house sitting all the way up until the end of September.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So yeah, I that's exciting because now I don't have to give anybody my money, right?
Right. Got free room
And
and board.
free room and board. And the exciting thing is that, okay, so when it was a dog that I sat for in that I helped sit for in Martha's Vineyard. She was really cool. She didn't lick me. She was very respectful of me. I was very respectful of her. I washed
Mhm.
her because, she was kind of like, so I
Messy.
washed her. We kind of bonded over the wash. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh my God,
This is
this is,
cool.
this is doable.
Yes, I
I,
still haven't quite gotten over the fear of dogs and the aversion, our culture, and that it's a mental hoop that you've got
yes,
to jump over.
yeah,
But I've been really, really finding a lot of success with cats. Have
yes.
you been finding the same thing in the UK, or is it mostly dogs?
So far I have 7 sets booked,
Hmm.
and out of the seven, I think I have 2 dog sits, and the rest are all cat
Wow.
sits.
So
Yeah.
that's awesome. That is
And
really awesome.
they're the kind of cat sits where, because it seems like in England, most of the cats are like outdoor cats.
Mhm,
So it's
mhm,
really like, being there to make sure they come in at night,
mm,
and just feeding them and that kind of stuff. So
mhm.
they're really kind of really easy sits.
Yes,
So I'm
yes,
really
they
pretty
are.
excited about that. So my accommodation thing is, that's not even an issue anymore. And my goal is to pet sit for, about a year, right?
Mhm,
And then, just work and save some money. So my focus now has shifted from accommodation to really trying to see what I'm going to do, to earn an income now.
absolutely. And that is just so like just, moving forth on faith and, just that whole fearless mentality that you always preach.
Yeah.
So speaking about, income, um, I know that we're both in love with remote work. I know we're both teachers, and I know that you have the coaching element. So how do you plan on moving forward with, all of those various skills that you've accumulated over the years?
So, okay. I do want to, expand my coaching because obviously, because of teaching, my availability for coaching has been quite restricted.
Mm,
So,
mhm,
now my goal is to really expand my coaching and get more clients in on my books for coaching. I really don't want to go back into the classroom.
mhm,
It's there
mhm,
as an option. I am qualified to teach in the UK. They love my curriculum vitae, or
mhm,
CV, or we just call it resume, right?
mhm,
So they love it. So I know if I want to go into the classroom, I can. Although I was speaking to someone like a recruiter yesterday while I was in the airport, and they were saying that there have been they've been cuts to education
oh
in
no.
England, and
Mm,
so the hiring has been a bit slower this year than it has been in previous years. And for me, I just feel like that's my sign from Allah that, you know,
mm,
the
mhm,
classroom is a crutch that I need to let go of. You know what I mean?
I
Because
hear you.
if I go back into the classroom, then I'm back in that same situation of not being able to develop the things that I want to develop.
Absolutely,
I've just
absolutely.
finished my own e-learning for end of and advanced care prep, right? So
Mhm,
I've finished the beta, it's been tested. So I want to work on putting that out there for people to be able to purchase that course.
wonderful.
I've applied for some online jobs, right? I'm actually finding I haven't gotten an online position yet.
Mhm.
I've gotten a lot of, oh, sorry, we chose someone else. Try
Oh yeah.
again,
Yeah,
and that was kind
definitely.
of feeling a bit like, am I not good enough? You know. Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, it's, it's one step at a time, and you're over there, you're making the big move, and
Mm.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just going to open up so many possibilities and opportunities for you. So it's coming. It's
Yeah.
definitely coming.
I guess I'll tell you something. First of all, my son was like, you know, Mom, just stay there. Don't come yet. Wait
Mm,
until you, because we haven't sold our house yet. I haven't sold the house, right? And
mhm,
so, I don't have the money that I'd hoped to have going to England, right? And
mhm,
so he was like, Mom, just stay there. Wait until you've sold the house. And then once you've sold the house, you can come with the money. Then you can come in a position of power instead of coming without selling the house. And you're going to be coming in a position of need, right?
mm,
And I was like, and I had to really kind of sit with that and think
mm,
about that. Am I pushing things too fast? Should I slow down? You know, is my date etched in stone, or am I going to be flexible on that? Because I did buy a ticket where I can change the date if I want to,
right,
and
right.
so I really was like, okay, what do I do here? Right. And then I was, I took a few days to kind of really process it and think about it. And I was just like, you know what? Bismillah.
Yes,
I've made my
yes.
decision. I feel like if I stay, then that's the scarcity mindset. I don't
Mhm,
have enough. I'm not,
right.
And I was like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al Ghani, right? Allah
Mhm,
Allah gives you what you need when you need it. And so I was
absolutely.
like, no, no, I'm going. And that was before I kind of signed up with the house sitting thing, right?
Mm,
So I just
mhm.
like, no, I'm doing this. And
So
then the
that was
next,
before you even had the roof over your head planned out.
yes,
Wow.
yes, right.
Mhm.
And then that, like after I did that, then Allah just, the flood of
Mm.
house sitting things. Wow, it's just been like
Pouring
mashallah,
in. 7
tabarakallah.
house sits? That's bananas. That is
Yeah.
nuts,
And
you
I
know?
don't have any reviews yet. All I have is just my references. You know what I mean? And some of them
It's
have
so
just
good.
even accepted me without even an interview. They're just like,
Mhm,
click, confirm. I'm
mhm.
like, okay,
What?
you know?
Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, what would you tell other women who are over 50 who feel like they've missed their window of opportunity to travel abroad, to move abroad, to start a business, to leave an old profession? What
Oh
would
my
be your
God.
advice?
Like you really have to, Allah doesn't lie, right? And Allah says, my favorite ayah in the Quran, وَمَا يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلَهُ مَخْرَجًا. And he who does his duty to Allah, Allah makes a way from him.
Mhm.
وَيَرْزُقُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. And he gives him his sustenance from places he can never have
Never have
imagined,
known.
right? وَمَن
Absolutely.
يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبَهُ. And he who puts his trust in Allah, then Allah is sufficient for him.
Mhm.
That is such like,
Powerful.
yeah,
Mhm.
right. And you have to live with that. Like the other day, my son, he needed some money, right?
Mhm.
And he asked me for a specific amount. And I
Right.
sent him 4 times that amount.
Wow.
And he was like, Mom, don't you need this money? And I was like, yeah, that's why I'm giving it to you. Right.
Mm,
And that
mhm.
didn't make sense to him. And I'm like, when you want something, you have to give something. Then Allah gives it to you. And
Right.
wallahi, I sent him that money. And within 48 hours, the money that I needed came to me.
Subhanallah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It happens every single time.
Right. Like,
Subhanallah.
and then when it happens, it's like,
Mhm.
shivers down your spine, like, oh my
Woo.
God, Allah,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm,
So you
mhm.
just have to but you have to make the move. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Like when you think about the story of Hajar alayhi salam, right, in the desert, right, you know, when Ibrahim left her there, right, she didn't just sit there and make dua, oh Allah,
Mm-hmm.
send me the water, send me my sustenance, right? You
Yes,
know,
yes.
she trusted in Allah, but she did the work, right? She
Mm-hmm.
ran from Safwa, she ran to Marwa, right? She did the work, right? And then Allah sent her sustenance from where she wasn't even looking for it, because it didn't
Mm-hmm.
come from Safwa, it didn't come from Marwa, it was the well of Zamzam,
Mm,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you want to do something, of course you make your istikhara, right?
Mhm.
You ask
Mhm.
Allah for guidance, but then you had to do it. You had to
Yeah.
take that step of faith, right?
It's
And
scary, but you just gotta do it.
yeah, but also you had to also be able to see when it ain't working and
Mm,
back it up if you need to. You know,
readjust,
don't be
replan, yes.
afraid to make
Mhm.
mistakes, right? You have to be
Mhm.
fluid, like how we are as teachers in the classroom, right? You know,
Mhm.
you got that lesson plan, you got it down plan to the T, and you come in
Mhm.
and the
You're
teacher,
thinking it's
and then
fire.
the principal tells you, yeah, no, we're having this today, or you get a fire drill,
Mhm.
or something else happens, and you
Mhm.
gotta
Go with the
change on the
flow.
fly, right?
Yeah,
So that's how it
absolutely.
is. You know, you make a plan,
Mhm.
you have your plan, right? And you plan to work your plan, but if it ain't working, then you got to be prepared to change it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So, my dear Fearless After 50, tell me a little bit about your YouTube channel.
My YouTube channel. And you know, I haven't made a new video in like, I don't know, maybe a month, right? Because
Mhm.
I've
You've
been
been
traveling.
traveling, girl.
I've been
Mhm.
traveling, right? And really, I traveled with all the stuff because I really had the intention to make videos while I
Mm.
was traveling. And
Mhm.
I decided that because, you know, I had this thing like, okay, well, I got to do my makeup and I got to wear the right clothes. And I realized
Mhm.
that all of that is
Mhm.
just making it way too hard.
It's just making
See,
it
I'm here, no
hard.
makeup, no makeup.
Mhm. Just like just like editing. You do all this editing, you do this fancy this and that, zip, zoom, zoom, and you've wasted 2 weeks on a
Yeah,
video.
but it's also
Mhm.
I'm making it more difficult in my brain, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
Putting
yeah,
obstacles in the way. Yeah.
yeah. So, you know, I
Mhm.
realized that I need to get rid of all of these mental
Mhm.
blockers, right? And
Mhm.
just get on
Mhm.
and just start doing it. So,
Absolutely.
you know,
Bare
thank you for
face
this
and all.
opportunity. This is my slap across the head to
Yeah, this
get it
is
going.
live. This is no take backsies. You're gonna be doing all the ums and ahs and
Yes. Uh,
stumbling and stuttering, but at the end of the day, it's a video that's out and that's done, and you don't
mm,
have to do anything with it.
yes.
So yeah, absolutely. We put all of these mental blocks in the way and obstacles. My makeup has to be done, my hijab has to be just right,
Mhm.
and everything has to come out perfectly. And no, it doesn't. It does
No.
not have to be right.
Yeah.
It could just be just good enough.
Yes. Just got to do it.
Absolutely. Mhm.
So, you know, I'm kind of committed to getting back on online and, you know, doing some updates,
Yeah.
right? And,
I really love just listening to your lectures that, I came to your end of life directives workshop, wonderful, fire. But, a lot of people can't make it. So you putting stuff out there on your YouTube channel, so valuable. So I
yeah.
really like seeing that as well.
Yeah, I've started doing that now. Whenever I get asked to do a presentation, I'm gonna start doing more recordings of them so that
Mhm.
what I can do is just upload them onto my channel, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm gonna start doing that as well. I did that with one the lecture I did over the Eid. And yeah, I have another presentation coming up next week. So
Mhm.
I'll be that's the end of life presentation. So I'm gonna go ahead and be uploading that as well.
Excellent. Can't wait to watch it and put my little comments in. So, yeah, looking forward to that. And
Inshallah, yeah.
yeah, I have the information for your channel, Kindred Barakah, in the description box. So, everyone on, oh, these cats are going crazy. Everyone who's on live, please definitely check it out and please like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe to Khalidah's channel. It's very inspiring. If you need a pick me up, that's the channel to go to.
Inshallah.
Oh,
And I do have one of the other things that I have in the works, or we have in the works, is the trip to the UK, the retreat, the 1 week retreat. I'm really excited about that.
absolutely.
I think it's going to be an amazing experience, right? So many of us are functioning, are blocking our blessings. And we're
Mhm.
blocking our blessings and we don't even know that we're blocking our blessings just because, we're functioning from, a mindset of scarcity, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Just
Mhm.
because of our stories in the past, and we don't recognize it. So, we've got Sabria Mills coming in, and behavioral therapist. She's going to be talking. Her and I, we're both going to be doing the 7 archetypes of abundance, going through the different kinds of people. All right. I'm not going to tell you all of them because I want you to come to the retreat. But
Absolutely.
you've got, like, the comparer, the person who's always looking at somebody else,
Mm.
thinking, they got more than I have, and the classic one for Black women is the martyr syndrome,
Oh my God, yes.
right? So, so there are different archetypes, right? This is the archetype, then there's a story, why we are like that, right? What are the signals, what are the traits, so that we can know whether or not that is us, and then how do we move forward, right?
Mm,
And so,
mhm.
yeah, I'm really excited. Want to definitely make sure that it's an entire experience, right? Not just a couple of workshops, but an entire experience in terms of bonding, in terms of learning how to really move forward and walk in abundance. And also, we're going to go out and check out the Lake District
Oh
countryside.
yes. Can't
You know,
wait. Can't wait. That's gonna be my jam. I'm gonna be the, hey, everybody who wants to just go and sit by a lake, come with me.
yes, yes, yes.
Anybody who wants to take a nap in your nice room in our English lodge, let's take a nap
Hmm.
together.
Yeah. Anybody
So
want to go
yeah.
to Beatrice Potter? Go with Farida.
Yes. Absolutely, because
Yeah.
yes, I love to rest. I love to, just lime,
Hmm.
and relax. So I'm really looking forward to that. And just bonding with the sisters is going to be really, really beautiful. And I'll get a chance to touch bases with you if I don't get a pet sit before then. So
Mm.
it'll be great, inshallah.
Mm.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm definitely looking for that.
Yeah, any last words or promotions, plugs, anything that you'd like to promote before we sign out?
Well, again, if you are, well, I think anyone, but definitely if you are living the life, this, transitional life where you are traveling and pet sitting, then it's really, really important that you do have, an advanced care plan, right?
Mm,
Because you don't know what's going to happen where, right?
mhm,
And especially as Muslims, right? If your family is back here in America and you are, for example, in, I don't know, China, right? You don't want it to be a situation where you die in China, you become incapacitated, or you pass away in China and your family over here has to make these decisions, and they're decisions that will go
based on
against your
emotion.
grain, right?
Yes,
Like, you
absolutely.
have to think about, if I'm in China, do I want my family am I okay with being taking 10 days to bury me because
Mm.
of the red tape that it takes to bring me back to the
Yeah.
US? Understanding that
Yeah.
I'm also going to have to be embalmed, right?
Mm.
To make that
To make
journey,
that trip. Yeah.
right? Because your families is going to be functioning from a place of grief. They're not going to be
Mhm.
functioning from a place of Sharia and Islam
Mhm.
and everything.
Mhm.
So you have to make those decisions for them.
For them, because they're coming at it with emotion and love for
Yes.
you, but not necessarily what's best for your akhirah. So,
Exactly.
mhm.
And so that's why it's so important to really stop and think about those things. Do I want to be resuscitated? Like CPR breaks ribs. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that I want to be me, but these are things that we have to think about. And so,
Mhm.
my course isn't up on my website yet, but the workbook is up on the website. If you are interested in taking the course, you can send me a message, right? And I can definitely get you hooked up with taking the course, right? There is a nominal fee involved, but if you're doing the life of traveling and pet sitting, then I think it's really, really important that you make sure that while you're taking care of everything else, you make sure that you take care of the unexpected as well.
Absolutely. I have her workbook. It is phenomenal, guys. My mom has her workbook. It's everywhere. And, we got to start writing those directives inside the workbook.
Yes,
You can't just buy it and let it sit at your coffee table. And it's such a blessing. And when the, live course is up, it's going to even be, even more hidden, inshallah.
inshallah.
Thank you so much for doing this. It's been a pleasure as usual. And inshallah, we'll do it again soon when you do your first house sit. How does that sound?
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. And
Live
then
from
you
the
can
house sit. Yes.
you can give us the tea on house sitting in the UK.
Uh-huh. Inshallah. Yes.
Inshallah. Okay, thank you all so much for viewing. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the description box for our Beyond Enough retreat, Kindred Barakah, and Fearless After 50. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa
Bye.
alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.